Hello everyone, my name is Crystal Myers-Barber. You can also find me not only here on Facebook but on Twitter at PromoGirl07, and I'm also on YouTube. Please do subscribe or follow me here on my channel. Isn't it wonderful that we have a place? Well, I'm an outlet for truth, and as we turn on all the TV stations, most all of the TV stations right now, we have a number one topic, and they're all talking about late Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And I'm so happy to have information for you so that I can really tell you what her views were and who she was as a person. So I want to thank you for tuning in. I did a video a couple years ago on my YouTube channel that was removed. So I just want to let you know that my header, my meme, could have possibly been maybe one of the reasons they took it down. And I was going to show you this meme in a sec. But it's been almost 2 years now. Fox News actually flashed up a picture of Ruth. Some of us will remember this, where they were announcing that she had died. And I do have that picture here. I did save that picture on my media. It looks like they got it right this time. And instead of 1933 to 2019, like they had put in January 21st, 2019, they've changed the date to be, accurate and matching up with the media is telling us right now to have died yesterday, which was the 18th of January. I'm sorry, the 18th of September. My goodness, time flies. Some of the things that I noticed right after that time, my husband and I went straight up to Los Angeles, and we were at a gift shop called Kitson, LA, Kitson, Los Angeles. And in that shop, we found all sorts of memorabilia that had pumped out. Like, when you died, they have dolls and little, well, I'm in the promotional industries, gadgets and things that show a person, and those things were all for sale, and we noticed that. And I also right away dug up a bunch of stuff, and they deleted my broadcast, but I have a copy of it. But I'm redoing it because I feel like I'm doing a better job today, because it's it's such a hot topic right now with her passing, and it's caused such strife about who's going to be appointing that next justice, and this has triggered all the liberals, and people they've gone even wilder. They've gone crazy. But I have Ruth Bader Ginsburg was filmed at the airport right after they announced she was dead, and then suddenly they resurrected her, back on everything. And that was a month later, in February of 2019. And basically, what they did is they showed her walking around in an outfit that she had worn before. And TMZ had proved it. They were like looking at the story, which is now removed. They removed that video. I unfortunately didn't get that coverage. So they were basically going in and out, trying to make her have these appearances where she was coming in and out of cars, or things like that, and trying to I don't know, show that she was alive. Now I get a lot of my information here and there from a place that has a military behind them, and it's also monitored by our very own president. It's actually been shown to have around 10 people, about as many people as your hands are. Usually when you're in a bigger circle than that, people talk and leaks happen, but there's some really good military, they're called White Hat Operation, and president is involved, and this team has been modified to be called team at this point, instead of the 17th letter of the alphabet, which you should be able to figure that out. But I have a lot of information that I had found from this story, back then. That's when I did my video. This information has been available to the public to see since January the 6th, 2019, and I did cover that on my video that day. But what I'm going to talk to you now is going to be around that post, and that in case you want to go look that up, you can find this on QAnon.pub. That's QAnon.pub. In case you're interested in seeing some of this information, there a lot. But we know that Bill Clinton appointed Ruth Bader Ginsburg, and I'm looking at my monitor here straight ahead of me in case you see me looking off to the side. Bill Clinton did appoint her, and she modeled his mindset. We'll just leave it at that. And so in this one post, it was saying, "Our pictures being avoided for a reason." Pictures, just like I already stated, in and out of her cars, and that's easy to see. So they were kind of hinting on some things. She was basically, I want to go over her history right now in this one post, in an article, and we're going to be looking at what she did to the system and her beliefs right now. She was, I want to also make mention that she was not only just a feminist, but if you Google what a feminist is, you can actually get several different accounts. And in this case, she was known as a radical feminist. And I'm looking right here on Wikipedia, and they're telling me that this is a perspective coming from a person who would like to call for the radical reordering of society, in which male supremacy is eliminated in all social and economic contexts. Radical feminists view society as fundamentally a patriarchy, that's hard to say, in which men dominate and oppress women. But when I was looking at some of the things that she stood for and some of her views and her mindset, it looked like she was playing God, and she was kind of trying to change the whole sexes and make them very, equal, and in a dangerous way. So in this one article that the team dug up, really it was coming back from 2005, couldn't be more true than it is today. We're going to see that she had a lot of beliefs in here that are not being talked about on mainstream media. I did turn the TV on just for a little bit, and I was trying to see, what was going on, and they're fighting, over who's going to pick who's going to actually do the picking. And we've got Joe Biden. He's on TV more than I've ever seen him since the whole campaign started for him. So they're giving him airtime, and whew, lucky for him, it was in his past. They're playing like old video of him, and I'm like, he looks like a totally different person. I'm sorry, I'm getting off track here. Let's go back to why I'm here. Anyway, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, she co-authored a book. It was a 230-page book called Sex Bias in the U.S. Code, and this was published in 1977 by the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights. The purpose of her book was to show how the proposed Equal Rights Amendment, for which she was an aggressive advocate, would change federal laws to make them sex neutral and eliminate sex discriminatory provisions. So here's the following things that in this book you could pull out and see. And what Team Q did is they pulled out a bunch of these belief systems that I'm going to read to you right now. Ginsburg called for the sex integration of prisons and reformatories so that conditions of imprisonment, security, and housing could be equal. She explained, if the grand design of such institutions is to prepare inmates for a return to the community as persons equipped to benefit from and contribute to civil society, then perpetuation of single-sex institutions should be rejected. So she's making big changes to lots of places here, and she's basically saying that she's trying to make everybody one here. Even there in the sex integration of prisons, is saying. So she called for the sex integration of Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. Oh God, because they perpetuate stereotyped sex roles. Page 145. She insisted on sex integrating college fraternity and sorority chapters and replacing them with college social societies, making big changes to college, affecting our kids, our youth. She even cast constitutional doubt on the legality of Mother's Day and Father's Day as separate holidays. Big question mark there. She actually wanted to change those holidays and make them the same. To me, she's a transgender's dream, trying to, in some ways, make it okay for men to be women and women to be man. So you see what I was saying, she's playing God. She's switching off the ability for people to switch their sexes and making it, easy for them. Ginsburg called for reducing the age of consent for sexual acts to people who are less than 12 years old. To me, this looks like she is ushering in, this was in 1977, ushering in the ability for sex trafficking and for kids to be, used, and at 12 years old here. And this is looking just like what we had happen here in California with our governor, and some of the laws are changing with sexual consent with these children being 12 years old, basically saying if they consent to it that it's okay, and the person, if they're 25 years or older, won't have to be on a sex registry or something like that. It's really hard to keep up with. So but Ruth put this in her book back in 1977, and she called, I'm going to read this again, Ginsburg called for reducing the age of consent for sexual acts to people who are less than 12 years old. Oh, that burns me up. She asserted that this is why the righteous have got to open their mouth and arise and talk about this stuff, and not let her be worshipped and glorified on mainstream media. We hope and pray to God, whether she passed 2 years ago or she's being used right now by the Democratic Party as announcing her death now, that she found the Lord. Going on. She objected to laws against prostitution because prostitution as a consensual act between adults is arguably within the zone of privacy protected by recent constitutional decisions. Looks like she was basically saying prostitution would be okay if the two people that are consenting to the act is in a privacy protection zone. On the other hand, her view of the traditional family was radical feminist, and we already went over what a radical feminist is. She said that the concept of husband, breadwinner, and wife, homemaker must be eliminated from the code if it is to reflect the equality principle. She called for a comprehensive program of government-supported child care. Ginsburg wrote that the Mann Act, that's MANN, which punishes those who engage in interstate sex traffic of women and girls, is offensive. Such acts should be considered within the zone of privacy. This looks like she is also taking down something that was trying to protect people that were being trafficked, and she knocked that down and changed it. Looks like she made it model more if it was in a zone of privacy, which to me looks like another nod off to the sex trafficking people. She demanded that we firmly reject draft or combat exemption for women, stating women must be subject to the draft if men are. But she added the need for affirmative action and for transition measures is particularly strong in the uniformed services. So looks like she was trying to make men and women the exact same when it comes to coming to defending our nation and holding, them as equal to be able to be fighters. And let's see what else. An indefatigable censor, Ginsburg listed hundreds of sexist words that must be eliminated. She eliminated these words from all statutes. Among words she found offensive, now you're not going to believe this, they were man, woman, man-made, mankind, husband, wife, mother, father, sister, brother, son, daughter, serviceman, longshoreman, postmaster, watchman, seamanship, and to man. Pages 15 through 16. She even wanted he, she, him, her, his, and hers to be dropped down the memory hole, and they must be replaced by he, she, her, him, and hers, and his, and federal statutes must use the bad grammar or plural constructions to avoid third-person singular pronouns. So you see, I remember this thing resurrected through Gavin Newsom also, or actually was it through, gosh, there's so many crazy things that have happened, but we've all been educated about that he, she, her lawsuit kind of thing, and they were talking about lawsuits in places where I think it was in medical places where if they didn't address the people the correct way, they could be sued. This was all brought on by her. This was championed by her. Not only did Ginsburg pass former President Bill Clinton's litmus test of being pro-abortion, she was also on record as opposing what was then settled law that the Constitution does not compel taxpayers to pay for abortions. In her chapter in a 1980 book, Constitutional Government in America, she condemned the Supreme Court's ruling Harris versus McRae and claimed that taxpayer-funded abortion should be a constitutional right. So essentially, she is also was given a nod to those Planned Parenthoods that arose all over the place, especially around where I live here in Southern California and throughout the United States, where people go there and they think it's all the opposite of being Planned Parenthood. It's actually taxpayers paying for abortions and for dismodeling and destroying the family. And most of these abortions are from black people. In a speech published by Phi Beta Kappa's key reporter in 1974, Ginsburg called for affirmative action, hiring quotas for career women. Using the police as an example, she wrote, "Affirmative action is called for in this situation." Let's see if there's anything else I want to see out of this. Yeah, so there's a lot more stuff in here about some of the stuff that I'm not going to really get into. I just kind of want to go over some of her belief systems. The Supreme Court heard oral arguments in Flowers versus Mississippi, a case on radical bias in jury selection. That was in March 2019. That was a following, year. An African-American Mississippi death row inmate was sentenced to death for killing 4 people in a Wyona furniture store in 1996. Let's see, and she had something to do with that. They wanted to... On June 22nd, 2019, the court ruled 7-2 that the prosecutor violated the law when he dismissed potential jurors because of their race. And she was left there for this argument. They wanted to keep her there for this Flowers versus Mississippi oral argument. And I'm trying to see what post that was from Q on that one. They felt it very necessary to bring that up. So, yeah, those are some pretty hardcore things that she did to the system that we see playing out in the system now. And we see that things are getting pretty hot in the streets about the fight for who's going to, pick the next justice. I think Trump actually has the right to appoint. He already said he's going to announce who he's picking next week. He's in a rally right now in North Carolina, so I'm not going to stay much longer. He's speaking in North Carolina, and they are there's panic. There's panic in the streets. There's panic in D.C. because Donald Trump is getting ready to put our Constitution back in order and take down the things that are trying to take over and become New World Order, I guess. If I'm going to rhyme, I'm going to rhyme, and it's right on time. So basically, there's a big fight. I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter about people threatening, like in Gateway Pundit, if I pull that up, somebody was threatening to burn down and burn more stuff down. Gateway Pundit is a great source for you to go to and see articles. gatewaypundit.com. So, yeah, so she passed, they said, at 87 years old yesterday, and they said that her family was surrounding her, and just want to put out some of her views from her very own book and let you see where she stands and some of the impacts that happened for her being placed there by Bill Clinton on the Supreme Court, and how important it is for us to get righteous people there that believe in God and love our country and don't want to become changing things and keep things under the Judeo nation, the Christian nation that we are. We don't want to cause all this kind of confusion on our kids. I hear that, I think they said at 8 years old, there's another law that was passed here in California where they could actually take a pill and it could change their gender. Can you believe that? Can you believe that they're giving an 8-year-old, parents of an 8-year-old, that could, let them say, okay, well, what do you want to be, a man or a girl, a boy or a girl? And that they have the ability. And this is happening now. This is happening in September of 2020. I'll be posting that information for you, separate from this broadcast. But you see how important it is for us to stand up and arise and tell the truth, and not let somebody be worshipped on TV and really being used. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Being used. And I'm sure people know that she is. So, yeah. Thanks for watching. I'm going to put this on all my channels, and God bless you. And I'll see you soon. I'm going to let you go so you can watch our president speak in North Carolina, where I used to live. God bless. God bless you, and God bless America. Today is January the 19th, 2019. We're going to kick off the start of this one. We're going to call it the Democrats' Weekend at Ginsburg. So, let's see. Are they letting us know the truth here? Okay, so let me just kind of move you through some of what people are speculating. Found some information on QAnon.pub. Ginsburg missing Supreme Court arguments for the first time. This was back January 7th. So she has not missed, and it says more than 25 years. And they're going on to say she's getting, better from that surgery she had. So I also did a little more digging, and okay. She canceled 2 upcoming events, January the 16th. So at this point, 3 days ago, she was supposed to go to some meetings in LA and New York. She's canceled these meetings here. And my final thought on this, and I'm going to include this one for you. I'm going to include this so that you can read this for yourself. Ruth, they did this movie on her, and they made her just look so amazing. Just so you know, I didn't catch it. She's very radical. She has a terrible record, and she's done some really evil things. She called for the sex integration of Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. There's terrible stuff in here I found. It's just really awful. She called for reducing the age of consent for sexual acts to people who are less than 12 years old. She asserted that laws against bigamous persons cohabitating with more than one woman and women cohabitating with a bigamist are unconstitutional. She objected to laws against prostitution because prostitution as a consensual act between adults is arguably within the zone of privacy protected by recent constitutional decisions. Ginsburg listed hundreds of sexist words that must be eliminated from all statutes. Among such words that she found offensive were man, woman, man-made, mankind, husband, wife, mother, father, sister, brother, son, daughter. I mean, this is just going on and on. She's just attacking identity. She's attacking everything that God did. how he gave us our identity. So she even wanted he and she, him, her, his, hers to be dropped. So you know, this person right here, I think that she's no longer with us, I don't think. She's really done some evil things to the system, and I thank God that Trump, he will be appointing the third Supreme Court justice, and you can't stop him. I don't care if you like him or don't like him, he's going to be appointing somebody else. So number 3 is coming up. Thanks for listening, everybody. Come back. I have another video. It's going to be about Pelosi. So I'll be back soon. God bless. Jesus, I thank you that you have cast out the prince of this world and you defeated him. I thank you, Lord, that I bind right now, because I take power over all the power of the enemy and authority. I bind the prince of the power of the air in the name of Jesus. I bind and rebuke Beelzebub, the prince of demons. I bind the principalities and powers in my region and over the President of the United States and over the staff and over the people in his administration, his entire family. And I plead the blood of Jesus Christ. I bind the principalities and powers over them in the name of Jesus. We thank you that, Lord, you hear our prayers. God bless y'all.